How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
We're live.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that production.
Yeah. Moving up in the world.
It's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks since we've gathered.
Yeah.
To talk about anything combat sports.
Yeah, dude. You know, it just gives you time to reflect on life. Think about things.
What's going on? What's been going on with you the last 2 weeks?
I don't even know. I think it was last weekend that Brian got married.
Congratulations again.
I think that was last weekend. Yeah. Right?
That's
we haven't
big.
talked about it?
No. You said that he was going to get married. We didn't know he got married.
Yeah, there it is. Shout out, Brian.
I was just waiting to see, did he get cold feet? You know, what happened? Did he actually go through with it?
Just leaves the day of.
Yeah, I just haven't heard from him since.
No, it was cool. It was cool. The venue was super cool. Everything went super smooth, as far as I know. It was sick.
Nice. Did you let anybody at the wedding know that we're available on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube?
I did, and I let everybody know that we're live now. Twitter and Instagram, as you can see on the bottom now. Still getting used to that.
That must have been the best man speech.
I was about to say, I started the best man speech. I said, thank you guys all for gathering. Just to let you guys know, we are on. and then I just left.
That must explain the extra subscribers we got, even though we had a week off.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody's
I'm not mad at it.
Well, of course, we let everybody know every week. If you like our content, please subscribe, comment. Goes a long way. There's that little bell or whatever you can click on so you get notified whenever we upload anything new.
Yeah.
Any way you could support us goes a long, long way. And then social media,
Twitter and Instagram, Story of the Fight.
For sure.
That's me.
Right.
Yeah, no longer Monday mornings. Sunday mornings. Good. So if you
get content a little bit faster.
Yeah. So if you normally check on Monday mornings, it would have been up for a day. So Sunday mornings from now on, I think, and live as much as possible.
Awesome. Yeah. And of course, if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Romero. Got my man Will over there. Love talking anything combat sports. And if you want to see any of our old content, we got some interviews with some fighters. Of course, we review any fights that have just happened. So always a lot of fun. We got some more stuff in the works for possibly interviewing some more fighters here coming up. As long as everything works out.
Yeah.
As long as everything goes as planned. But last night we did have a fight card again after 2 weeks.
Time off.
I was going through some MMA withdrawals, Will.
Yeah, me too. I found myself painting Just Bleed across me, looking at myself in the mirror. Just not really knowing what to do.
But just a tear coming down, one tear slowly.
Yeah, smearing the Just Bleed paint.
Before this card went down, I think we actually talked about it and just mentioned how stacked this card actually was. We figured it was going to be somewhat underrated going in.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of folks on this card that were wondering, if this was a fork in the road for them, whether it was going to be a boost in their ascension or whether they're going to take a couple steps back. But do we have a moment of silence?
We have a moment of silence for this card. Not the craziest moment of silence. Morose versus Manon was supposed to happen. Morose had to pull out 3 days before the event. Dushko Todorovic was supposed to fight Maki Pitolo. Pitolo got injured, had to pull out. Alessio De Chirico was supposed to fight Delize, and he had to pull out. Tom Breese versus Antonio Arroyo was canceled 5-10 minutes before it was supposed to happen. Americani had an opponent change, but the biggest hit probably of the card was the Amanda Hebus versus Angela Hill. Yeah, that was going to be a super cool fight. I think this was the second time they've had to reschedule this fight.
I think so.
Yeah, he had COVID issues.
Is this the new Ferguson Khabib matchup that's just cursed?
I don't think so.
maybe the anticipation isn't as big for this one.
Yeah.
Implications probably not as big, but either way, it's a fight that I've been wanting to watch happen. I just want to watch Angela Hill fight. Just let her bang, man.
Yeah, just let her bang.
Somebody just gotta let her bang.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like also most people are on the Hebus side of that. They want to see Hebus, which I'm a Hebus fan, but there's like a huge following of Hebus lately. And
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think Angela Hill's getting her dues, man.
No, I don't think so either. I'm definitely more on the Angela Hill side of that.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. And again, Hill. Not that I don't like Amanda Hebus. She has some hilarious interviews as well. One of the fighters that really lets her personality shine. That might be part of the reason that she's starting to get more fans. It seems like she doesn't take herself too seriously. She enjoys herself. She's having fun in the process.
Yeah.
So that must be why.
It's got to be.
Oh, by the way, as soon as we went live, got the little notification on my phone.
I just saw it right now too.
So very nice. The main event, Rozenstruik versus Sakai.
Yep. Biggie boy.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at them.
Look at them just bumping fists. So I could tell you right now, I knew exactly how this fight was going to go.
Yeah.
When Rozenstruik walked out, bumping Tupac.
Yeah.
Boom. I was like, dude, this guy means business right now. And that hammer fist.
Wait. Hold on. Keep that picture right there. Is that Sakai or Rozenstruik's corner?
I don't know, but neither of them looks excited.
That guy looks like he's wondering if he left the stove on.
It has to have been Sakai's corner. Has to have been. Because if you're watching your man
so unamused,
pummeled with that hammer fist, you're probably like, oh, damn. You know? And that's like
at least like put like a hands up or like a
No. I think he's looking at that like watching his hero taking an L.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hey, Rozenstruik, this kind of reminded me of the last time we saw Derek Lewis on there, because Derek Lewis was very slowly stalking, just waiting for the right shot.
Yeah.
And that seemed very much like what Rozenstruik was doing, just slowly stalking. You know how
we've always had like mythical fighters, right? Like C-level Kane, right? BJ Penn with the look in his eyes, all that kind of stuff, right?
C-level Kane.
Remember C-level Kane?
TV tour.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's always been Rozenstruik might be like late round Rozenstruik.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Because
it seems like the whole rounds are setups, right? Just aligning things, and then last 30 seconds go for broke.
4 minutes and 50 seconds of setting up.
I mean, that's kind of what's been happening, right? In his last few fights. The JDS one was a little different, but still, I mean, this was he KOs Overeem with 4 seconds left, right, of the whole fight, and this one is 1 second left of the first round. So it seems like he's very aware of like heavyweight cardio issues, and like strategy. Mm-hmm. He's got good setups, great feints, like really good feints for a heavyweight, especially.
And Sakai was reacting to those.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. But then you see like at the end of the round, he kind of goes for broke a little bit more, and it seems like he's willing to like really take advantage of those last 10 seconds, and go for broke because he knows he has the in-between rounds to recover. And I feel like that's kind of where he's most dangerous. And that's kind of what we're starting to see from his like strategy is go for broke towards the end of rounds because, dude, he wasn't doing the best at cutting off the cage.
Nope.
Sakai was able to circle. He did one time and he landed a big right straight to the body after he finally cut off the cage. But then again, kept letting him circle out. And I wonder if that was the setup, that might have been the setup is let him circle out so he feels comfortable circling out on the cage. And once I'm ready, then I'll actually
hit him with that left.
Yeah, make him think he's out of range. Think I'm just going to let him get away, and then hit him with that double up on the left hook, reaching left hook.
Yep. And Sakai seemed very hesitant the entire fight. And I know people are like, man, you got to let your hands go. You know, and the way he fell after he got punched is part of the reason why he was hesitant to letting his hands go.
Yeah, exactly.
Rozenstruik's got some power.
He's got that sneaky power that just like touches you. Like, because the left hook that really stunned him, the first one, that set up the range for the right over the top. But even the right over the top wasn't. It was more at the end of the punch, right? Which sometimes is a good thing, but it seemed like even further than the snap at the end of the punch. Like it snapped and then reached a little bit more. But he just hits so hard that it doesn't matter.
Very Ngannou-esque, you know, where even if it grazes you, like near the temple, it could be trouble. And I mean, honestly, I think the thing that did the most damage during that exchange there, well, it wasn't really an exchange. It was more Rozenstruik just beating him up. But it was the hammer fist. Yeah, that was a bad hammer fist. Cut him up right away, and you could see his eyes start trying to refocus.
The cuts, he had 2 nasty cuts. I haven't been able to see like a good picture of him after the fact, but when he was standing up and they were kind of like doctoring him up after the fight and stuff, he had a cut like from here to here down, and then another one from like here to like here. Yeah, like just 2 gashes from
both of them gonna need stitches.
Yeah, from like 5 seconds.
It's crazy. When he stood up, he had blood like running down the side of his face. I was like, is his ear bleeding? What is that?
Yeah. And people were talking shit. People were talking shit about the stoppage too, which I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
1 second left, you could argue, let him come back. But you could see him go limp from a couple of the hammer fists and then kind of come back a little bit. And he didn't argue anything.
And then the other thing is too, right? Like you hear the 10-second warning. You see these crazy exchanges. I can pretty much assure that Herb Dean's not counting down from 10 in his head, and he's more focused on what's going on in front of him. Yeah. So let's say Herb Dean, there's so much going on. Let's say that there's 3 seconds left, 4 seconds left. Like he doesn't know in his head. He thinks like I can't continue letting this guy get pummeled for another 4-5 seconds. It's just a bang bang type of call.
Yeah. Also, like, do you think? I don't even know because I don't know why. I don't think I've ever actually thought about this, but what do you think about actually letting that even influence the decision to call a fight?
What do you mean?
Like if say you are present, I don't think you can be as a referee, but say you are present, there's like 3 seconds left and someone's getting like, it's a fight ending questionable like moment of a fight. And
should you take that into consideration is what you're saying?
Yeah. If this is 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
If I'm Keith Peterson and there's 10 seconds left and Dom Cruz is getting his ass kicked, I'd probably let him write it out.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wonder if that's, I don't even know how I feel about that. If you should allow it to go a little bit longer to finish the round to give them a second chance. Probably not though, right? There probably shouldn't be that outside influence on the decision.
I think it's case by case.
Yeah, but I think all that does is take away from the would-be winner, right?
I mean, yeah, I think it's case by case. In this case, I'm not mad at it at all because, again, Sakai, after that first hammer fist, you could tell he was off in La La Land.
Yeah.
He's probably...
What's funny is the last time probably this conversation would have been had is probably Rozenstruik versus Overeem.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was 5 rounds of pretty much Overeem winning, and then 4 seconds. You just let it go 4 seconds so he could win the decision. I saw that a lot. But do you? You know?
It's such a tough call.
Yeah.
Because, again, your job as a referee is to try to protect the fighter as much as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. If there's a fight-ending sequence, it probably shouldn't matter where it lands, whether it's the first 5 seconds or the last 5 seconds.
I'm sure if you ask Overeem, I'm sure if you ask Sakai, they'd probably say, you know, just let me bang.
Yeah.
You know? But
I don't know if Sakai would say that though, because he did not look upset with the stoppage.
Oh, dude, in his head, man, he was back in the favelas. You know what I mean? Just walking around celebrating with his peeps. He didn't even know where he was at, man. So he's not mad at that. Not mad at that. All right. Anything else on that the main event?
No, I don't know what you do with Rozenstruik at this point. Maybe Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
Both coming off losses. That's usually how they match make, right?
I mean, I feel like we just saw that in Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades. I think it's going to be a very similar matchup.
Is it though? I don't know. Rozenstruik has really good takedown defense, right? I think like statistically maybe best of the heavyweight division, but I can't think of him fighting like a real like wrestler like Curtis. It'd be interesting. I mean, what else are you gonna do with Curtis Blades?
And he said it during his post-fight interview too. He said, "Just anybody in the ahead of me makes sense."
Yeah.
And they asked him which fight makes sense for him. So just anybody for him, I guess, in the top 5,
Yeah, maybe Volkov. What was Volkov's last fight?
I don't remember who he fought, but I do remember he looked really, really good.
Was it Overeem? You could do that. You could do Volkov versus Rozenstruik, but I don't know. Volkov deserves someone above him, I think.
I think so too.
I think it depends what's happening with the belt, I guess Derek Lewis is going to fight Francis.
And then where's John Jones in the mix?
Stipe, man. If Stipe, I think he's going to sit out and get a rematch is what it seems like. Volkov versus Stipe is a good fight, and that's a number 1 contender fight right there.
Yep.
That's how you really piss off Jones is you make that fight, because then he knows, oh shit, I'm not getting a title shot anytime soon.
Man, we gotta know what's gonna happen with Jones. I don't even think Jones knows what's gonna happen with Jones. So, all right, Tybura versus Harris. Dude, I have found myself rooting for Harris for so long.
I think everybody has, man.
He comes into this fight with 23 fights, only winning 13 of them. Dude, not sure how much longer he's going to be in the UFC.
I don't think they ever cut him.
You don't think so?
I don't think you could. Dana, as much shit as everybody talks about Dana, and he deserves it for a lot of things. The dude gets like soft spots for certain fighters.
Yeah,
and I think he's got the same thing with Walt Harris. If Walt Harris was in any other division, probably close to the end for his UFC run. But in the heavyweight division, it's always been shallow. There's not. I don't know. I mean, there's, especially when you look at his last,
Overeem, Volkov, Tybura.
Yeah.
Last 3.
Fuck, man. Right? Tough guys. The Volkov one, is not. There wasn't much offense from him in that one, but I mean, kind of a similar story with the Overeem one. I mean, very close to finishing that fight early.
Yep.
And this one, same thing, right? Tybura was almost gone. He almost had him out. He was missing that one clean punch in that whole exchange. If he landed just a one more clean one, it would have been over, I think. But he just couldn't quite do it. Tybura is so crafty.
Tybura's got a chin too.
Yeah, and he's been in there, he understands octagon awareness, he knows what the fuck to do in those situations to just show enough, and grit it out.
It seemed like he had
performance by Tybura.
It seemed like he had a little more cardio in this fight.
Walt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was still similar where, you weather the storm in the beginning and then afterwards you start implementing your game plan.
Yeah, but also styles make fights, right? Tybura got in, like you said, he implemented his game plan, and that's the style that you should be using to beat Walt Harris. But that's not the style that everybody can use to beat Walt Harris. Tybura is really good on the ground,
Yep.
If this were other opponents, he probably, first off, he probably gets him out of there in that flurry. Secondly, if they survive the flurry, the game plan that they need to implement for themselves isn't quite the same. They're probably going to, in the heavyweight division, most likely they're going to try to knock him out, right? So in those situations, I think Walt Harris is still viable.
So if you're the UFC, you just spoon feed him opponents?
Dude, they should have spoon fed him an opponent instead of that Overeem fight. That should not have been his fight during all the craziness, his personal story, right? I was so mad because dude, you give him someone like Overeem, who's like one of the most decorated fighters in the UFC at that time, right? He's no longer there.
And
but
MMA in general.
yeah, exactly. And bro, just give him a fucking layup. Just give him a layup just so he can, like, dude, now it's 0-3 because you've given him Overeem, Volkov, and now Tybura. Like, give him something. Like,
Yeah.
the man has been had things taken away from him in a way that most people will never understand. And then he's gonna fight killers. Bro, fuck that, dude. Give him a fucking break, man. Like,
So
just
for
let him get a
anybody
win.
that's
Just give him an up, you know? Fucking
so
hell,
for
man.
anybody that's listening, like let's say a Richie Casual, he's probably sitting off to the side right now, just wondering like, what was taken away from him? Do
Yeah.
you want to explain?
Yeah, so this must have been last year, maybe the year before when it started at least. His daughter was all of a sudden missing. And then there was some footage from a gas station that came out that looks like she was probably kidnapped. And then there was a big search that Dana put out a message. Like, it was crazy. And she ended up they ended up killing her, I think, because I think the official story was that she fought back from the actual kidnapping, and she was shot in the vehicle as they were like pulling out of the gas station. I think that's the official story, right? Who knows exact? That's what they were able to determine. Who knows what actually went down, right? But so they ended up finding her remains, which is just like, I think she was like 16 or 17 or something like that. Just like insane. I don't know how. And he fought like, dude, he must have fought, what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks after they officially like found her remains.
Yeah.
And then almost, fuck, it was so, and this is why the sport's so good, right? Like, it sounds shitty to say that, but like, it was so close to him getting a first round knockout within like the first like minute of the fight. After all that, it would have been like, that would have been one of the greatest like emotional moments in the sport's history.
Yeah.
You know, but unfortunately, Overeem is durable. And I hated it also because, like, how are you going to put Overeem in that position?
Yep.
Like, dude, could you imagine having to fight somebody who you know that just, it was very public and he chose to fight and you have to fight him, and it's like, you're not going to take a dive, right? So like, but like, I can't imagine being in the position that Overeem was in. And he handled it super, I mean, obviously very gracefully. Overeem did, super respectful and all of it. But I mean, and that's why everybody roots for Walt Harris when he fights, you know. And it helps that he's exciting also, right?
Yeah.
You guys are super dangerous, hits hard as fuck.
It is one of the saddest stories, though.
It's got to be,
So.
you know.
Yeah. Well,
back to the point though, give him a fucking easy fight.
Hopefully, the next fight they give him, if they give him another one, it's something that helps him get back on a winning track, you know?
Yeah. He said that he was training in Vegas for this fight. And he said that training in Georgia, his original camp, too many distractions, and it was just not the right thing for him anymore. So maybe that move is going to be in the future even better because, dude, he looked good. Like you said, the cardio issues looked addressed. There was a big flurry, and I don't think he gassed out whatsoever. Nope. It was just a matter of he got out positioned, right?
And he regained his composure. Instead of just going through and blowing his wad, right? He just pulled it back again and just figured, okay, I'm not getting him out right now. Mm-hmm. So he went back to, trying to set his game plan.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously this has been the Walt Harris story the whole time, but I mean, Tybura's legit, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Tybura's legit, dude. Beats Ben Rothwell. Finally takes out Greg Hardy in a way that was just the most satisfying thing. Give Walt Harris Greg Hardy, you know?
There you go. Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, let him take out some anger on Greg Hardy, you know?
That's a good one.
But Tybura looks so good. The way he was able to recover with, like, just grit out that process. And then the way he caught that kick for the takedown, because it wasn't like a lazy kick. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a powerful kick, and he caught it, took him down, and then he's so good on the ground, dude, at heavyweight.
Yep. And Tybura, again, so durable, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So durable.
I'm excited to see his next fight.
Before that, we have Roman Dolidze versus Therapoli.
You know what fight was more interesting than this?
What?
The fight between Michael Bisping and Dominic Cruz in the booth during this fight. Their
the
fight
back
was more
and forth.
entertaining than this.
Oh man, yeah. And the crazy thing is, I actually agree with Dom Cruz for once. I didn't think that his boy Peterson should break them up. Right, that's a good position for Dolidze. What's he doing with the position? I could see where Bisping's coming from. He's not doing very much with the position, but then again, he's winning the fight. And
I'm going to disagree with you, but keep going.
You don't think he was winning the fight?
Yeah, I never thought I would be the one on Bisping's side. If you told me that 5 or 6 years ago, I'd be like, fuck that, fuck Bisping. But here we are. And I'm sure you never thought you'd be on Dominic Cruz's side finishing.
Never thought Dominic Cruz. In my eyes, because he had him in that position where he had his back.
And had his back, yeah.
And he wasn't doing very much with it. First of all, Dolidze's grip just has to be so strong.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's a legit grappler.
Look there it is. That was about 13 minutes of the fight.
Yeah.
That had to have been 13. Oh, okay, there you go. Minimize it there, Rich. Okay. A little crop in action.
Yeah. Well, you see, but with that grip he has, you see Thyropoli's doing the wrong thing. You know, he should be, and Dolidze's got great like head position there, but that gap underneath Dolidze's chin, that's where that right hand of Thyropoli, instead of having it back behind his head, he needs to fish that in and get in there. There's a gap there, you know. Dolidze wasn't keeping that elbow pinned like it kind of should have been. And maybe it's because he's not even trying right now. So I'm just going to keep it open. I'll pin it when I need to. But that's where that arm needs to go. You know, he needs to fish that in there. And that's how he'll be able to break the grip. But
yeah, but we did see Thyropoli. You know, he dropped down. He continued fighting the hands. He tried using the fence to scrape him off. He tried turning into him. He tried, again, putting his arm behind his head. So he was trying to get better positioning. Yeah. But I think Dolidze won, again, the strength, his grip, and the head positioning, continued moving his head into the perfect spot where it made it extremely difficult for Therapoli to get out. Now,
agreed.
Again, shocked that I'm agreeing with Dominic Cruz. Just shocked. But I like the part where Bisping's complaining about Dolidze, saying he's not getting any fans with this style. He's not making a name for himself. I thought to myself, well, maybe he doesn't care about that. And maybe he just wants to ride his UFC career out. Maybe he just wants to win. He wants to get the show money. He wants to get the win money. And maybe he doesn't want to lose an eye in the process of his UFC career, Mike.
Yeah. Here's where I knew I was going to start disagreeing with Dominic Cruz about this, was when he said, look at Khabib. Khabib made a career out of doing this. Fuck off.
That's a little different.
It's different because Khabib didn't just position people. He fucked people up. He mauled them. He mauled them. There's no shit talking Khabib in between rounds saying, come on, let's fucking fight, because the whole time you're getting fucking big brothered and the shit kicked out of you on the ground. So as soon as he said that, that was when I was like, I'm on Team Bisping here. But he did make some valid points, right? Obviously. But I do think Keith Peterson should have stepped in maybe in the second round. The first round, no. Second round. And the reason I would say you step in there, because the reason you don't step in when someone has someone's back on the ground is because you can be 3 seconds away from a submission, 3 seconds away from being flattened out, ground and pound that you can't escape from, and the fight's over. Because the threat of the finish is so there, because it's such a dominant position, that you cannot stand someone up for that, right? You just can't stand someone up if they have their back. A
la like Damian Maia and Jorge Masvidal, right? Exactly. When he had his back for so long.
Yeah, you can't
not broken up.
You can't do it, because at any second they could fish that in. All it takes is this. You know what I mean? That alone, and it's over. So that's why you can't separate that. This with that grip, for, like you said, 13 minutes of the control time in that position, how many takedown attempts were there? 2? 1?
Maybe.
Like he never broke to go for like a single leg. He never actually tried to go for like a suplex or anything like that. Like there's no threat of a finish in that position. There was no even positioning to advance from the position. He was fully content on just riding that position. That's where I feel like I think he should have separated him, at least in the second round, not the first round.
When he did break, there was that one point where he hit him like 4 straight shots with the hook and then went right back to the grip.
Yeah.
And then, I think there was a takedown at some point, right? Was in the first round I can't remember exactly when.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see how that'd be a very good strategy for Dolidze because Therapoli had an obvious speed advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And when they came out in the second round, before they got back into that position, you could see that Therapoli was significantly slower than when he started off that first round.
Yeah.
So I could see that being a strategy leading into the second. Just didn't think he'd ride it out for the full 13 minutes. But again, hey.
Exactly, yeah.
Dolidze is probably ready to fight in a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're right.
He got he got his win money. He got his show money.
Yeah.
And you know what? He might be able to double up in his earnings this year just due to the fact that he's fighting this way. So what's he doing it for? I guess that's the biggest question.
Yeah, and Therapoli can fight next week too. Took 0 damage.
You see him afterwards when Dolidze went up to him to like shake his hand. He was like, "Man, get out of here, dude."
Yeah, I mean the fact that Dolidze's talking shit during that fight was pretty. That's how you lose fans, If you're, because, and he's also not. Dana's not going to do him any favors. I wouldn't be surprised if they literally like sit him out for a while and just don't even offer him anything. And I think like Therapoli also took this on short notice, right? 2 weeks notice. I think he took this fight on, so I don't blame him for anything. I know Dominic Cruz made the point, and I agree with the point of if you're mad at him for hugging you in this position for the whole fight, then do something so he can't do that.
Yep.
Like you have to stop him from doing that. And I agree with that. But let's also factor in 2 weeks notice, right? Not game planning for this guy. Like wasn't focused on super offensive wrestler, that style. So I don't really blame him for not being able to get him off. But the point still stands, right? I'm just saying I'm not going to count it against Therapoli. I'm interested to see Therapoli again because I think because when they were separated, the dude's got nice hands. He was cracking them.
Dude, those body kicks too?
Yeah.
When he hit him with like 2 or 3 in a row?
There was one where Dolidze like landed a decent shot and like smiled and was like, I got you. And then Therapoli was like, oh, we throwing hands? And just like landed like 3 punches real quick. And he was like, oh, I'm going to go back for the takedown. I don't want any of that.
For anybody that's listening right now, appreciate you tuning in. This is the first time that we're going live. Please comment in the chat because we'd like to see what y'all shoot about this topic, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do y'all think about this one? Are you on Dom Cruz's side where, don't separate him because he's in a good position? Or are you on Bisping's side where he's like, they should get separated, right?
Yeah.
Or are you just like, no nonsense, Keith Peterson?
And
which seems like he took a little nonsense in this case.
Yeah, I was like, he lost the nickname, in my opinion. That was some nonsense, I think. I know we don't agree on that, but dude, in the second round, and especially the third, fucking separate. Because now there's no avenue for this to lead anywhere. You know what I mean? Like the first round was the indication that, oh, he's content with just this. That's a yellow card. In my opinion, you lose money for that kind of a performance.
Yellow card his ass.
Yeah. And then,
I like it.
You know what I mean? That's what we need. Pride rules back.
Hey.
We need the pride rules back.
It's the whole point of the show, right?
Exactly.
Hey, before that, though, you know what? Like, I feel like the MMA gods were like, simmer down after this fight, and they gave us Dolidze.
I saw somebody say that this was a palate cleanser after.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah. So,
because no fight was going to live up to the last one.
Baeza versus Ponzinibbio.
Yeah.
Now we know how high our boy George is on Ponzinibbio.
Yeah.
So it was, in my eyes, probably fight of the year so far.
Yeah, I was trying to think. The Barboza versus Burgos was a crazy one.
It's a pretty good one too.
You know, I would still probably rate this one over it. Yuri Prohaska versus Dominic Reyes was another contender, I think. But this one has a story to it a little bit more, and that adds to it. You know, it wasn't just a slugfest. You know, the story going in of Ponzinibbio being out for so long, didn't look quite the same in his last fight. Started off this fight, kind of seemed like that was the way it was going again.
I mean, look at that high kick.
Look at that.
Look at that high kick.
Baeza is so talented, dude.
And so technical.
He's
so technical.
the type of person. Every sport has those guys where like you've grown up and you're teaching people like certain pitchers in baseball, right? Like growing up being taught how to pitch, like there's certain pitchers that coaches will tell you to go watch, right? Because some pitchers get success and they're doing like looping motions. They have tendencies that you don't really necessarily want to replicate, but they get away with it because they're so talented.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's pitchers like Greg Maddux, right? Who's just like so technical, everything's perfect that you show young kids, hey, watch him, learn from him. He's doing the basics perfectly. Baeza is one of those type of guys, you know, like just so, like you said, so technical, so talented, just very disciplined. Hit that first round. He looked so good.
Both of their stock went up.
Oh, 100%.
Both of their stock went up after this.
I remember going into the third round, I was like, we talk about it all the time, right? With these prospects. Now we get to find out if they're like the real deal, you know, going into this third round, because we've seen the flashy stuff. We've seen them run through people. We've seen them put on these super cool performances. But what happens when they're in the face of adversity, right? And that's kind of what he got in this fight.
And Ponzinibbio, props to Ponzinibbio, because he was rocked that first round. And I probably was like a lot of other folks thinking, that he might not be able to overcome this.
Mm-hmm.
His conditioning, that output, I think he had 74 strikes in the third round.
Did he really?
It was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the jab, look at that.
His jab was...
It was on point.
That was his way in.
It was a double jab. There was a triple jab. You know, it was just his way to continue closing the gap and then just being able to engage once he got a little bit closer. But man, it was just, it was such a fun fight.
Yeah, and we learned a lot about Baeza in this fight. You know,
both of them, right?
Well, I didn't learn much. Well, the only thing I learned about Ponzinibbio in this fight is that he is still there.
Yep.
Right, because there were some question marks after his last fight. But I think that was ring rust, right? Because he was out for so long.
That was with Liang, right?
I think so, yeah.
Liang or whatever.
Yeah, which is a tough fucking fight, man, to come back from for so long. But Baeza, right, the first round is putting on a masterclass. Ponzinibbio cannot get in. He did such a good job with his low kicks that like Ponzinibbio was slipping all over the place because he couldn't plant his feet anymore. And anytime he would come in, he'd light him up to the legs, and it took out the jab. He like couldn't do anything. And then he's landing that overhand right at a long distance, right? Where it was crazy because it's like the opposite of what you normally do, right? Where anytime Ponzinibbio would try to come in, he'd check him with the leg kicks, right? Mm-hmm. But then on the outside, normally you'll throw your leg kicks, keep him at kicking range, right? But then on the outside, before he got into punching range, Baeza was landing that long overhand right and just catching him right at the end of it. Like you said, Ponzinibbio was wobbled in that first round from that same punch. And then at the end of the first round, we see Ponzinibbio's path to victory. And Ponzinibbio is such a veteran that he recognized it too, right? And made the adjustments when it was probably like the last 45 seconds of the round, clear Baeza round, right? Ponzinibbio says, fuck it, I'm going in, right? I'm not going to worry about these leg kicks. I'm going to take the leg kick to land mine. He lands his jab and then opens up with the right hand over it. And then just he's hooking, right? And Baeza is up against the fence and he's blocking most of the shots. But like, dude, even if you're blocking some of those, like your head's still getting whipped around
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And he shelled up. And Ponzinibbio had some success at the end of the round, and it was like, that's the opening maybe. And then the second round, kind of the same situation. It looked like it was kind of going the same way as the first round. Baeza was landing his leg kicks, heavy leg kicks. Ponzinibbio landed a couple. Baeza landed the overhand right again and looked to wobble Ponzinibbio a little bit. I don't know how much of it was him being like out a little bit, or if it was because his legs were like dwindling underneath him, so he couldn't even stand up anymore. But I like made a mental note of it at like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, literally the halfway point of the round. I was like, all right, Baeza is winning this round. It's closer than the first, but the second half, let's see if Ponzinibbio can like really turn it up. And he did. And I think,
and he didn't slow down from that point on.
No, he took that momentum, because that was the change in momentum of the fight. Was that literally exactly the halfway point of round 2, and luckily for Ponzinibbio, he did more in the second half than Baeza did in the first half. Right, Baeza was winning the first half, but if you compare the halves, Ponzinibbio was better. But I think Baeza will be better after this fight, because I think when you go undefeated, right? Was he 10-0 going into this? Yeah. When you go undefeated, you don't really know. There's questions that haven't been asked of you, so you don't know how you would answer them, right? Now he can see. I saw people complaining, or not complaining, but talking shit, saying that he was gassed just from throwing leg kicks. Dude did not gas. He did not gas. What happened was Ponzinibbio finally started landing his jab, and then was following up over the jab and not just landing one shot after one shot, because once he got in close on Baeza, and he was landing shots, Baeza shelled up, was getting hit, and forgot. People were saying he didn't have any head movement. Head movement doesn't matter if you're not moving your feet. You know, the problem was his feet were planted. He'd sit his feet. He'd shell up. He'd try to move his head a little bit. He's getting lit up. And Ponzinibbio, he's not evading. He's not moving. So Ponzinibbio can just stand there and tee off on him. So I think, and I don't think you could find one good, sorry, this is a rant, but this is the one I've been thinking of the most. But I don't think Ponzinibbio or Baeza does well as a counter striker. When he's first, people can't get off, right? He's a wood chipper, right? You can't get in on him. But once you do get off, even if you're just throwing a jab as a rangefinder, things like that, right? Once you get going, he didn't quite have an answer. There was nothing to return. There was nothing to stop Ponzinibbio. He basically just allowed Ponzinibbio to go off because he wasn't returning. So I think that's something he can learn from is you can't just stand there and shell up, because even if you feel like, yeah, I could take this, no biggie, it adds up, you know? And Ponzinibbio took advantage of that.
Yeah, did you notice too, Ponzinibbio, once he started timing that leg kick, at first he was just checking him, but then it turned into a check right straight at the exact same time. And we talked about it before. I think you mentioned it, right? The way to respond to a calf kick is with a straight right down the pipe, right? Like make him pay for it. And he started doing that the second half of the second round.
And stopped throwing it. He stopped throwing the leg kicks.
So, dude, it was just such a good fight.
Fantastic fight. Love a good comeback, you know. Not just in the fight.
Everybody loves a good comeback story.
Yeah, and this has both comebacks, right? The comeback of the fight itself, but also the career, right? Because a lot of people thought maybe Ponzinibbio's best days were taken away from him because of the
who didn't think that?
Stuff. Yeah.
George. So the last thing on this, during the post-fight interview, asked him, were the leg kicks an issue? And he said, all the medical issues I've had in the last 2 years, doctors tell me I might never be able to fight again. Do you think I'm worried about some little leg kicks?
Yeah.
Money,
fantastic.
Dude. Money.
Fantastic.
All right. Before that,
I love Ponzinibbio.
We had.
I'm excited to see
Dushko.
both of them fight again.
For sure. We had Dushko Todorovic versus Rodriguez.
This fight, it would have been interesting to see Todorovic versus Maki Pitolo instead of this. After seeing this, I wonder how that fight would have went. Yep. Because Dushko looks a lot more hesitant after his last fight. I
don't know if you remember, Will. After he fought Soriano, I said I enjoy watching Todorovic, Dushko, but his movement, getting away from shots, is straight back.
Always.
He moves in a straight line, straight back, and tries to avoid him. So if somebody extends or somebody has a reach, they're still going to be able to catch him. I said that exact same thing in his last fight against Soriano, and guess what he was doing last night again?
Same thing.
Same thing.
He does do such a good, and the reason he didn't go down in this fight is because he does, even when he does get caught doing that, he rolls with the shots. The only person I've seen roll with shots better than him is maybe like Robbie Lawler or John Jones. He rolls with shots so well. So he's getting caught when he's doing that, but at least he is rolling with them well. The problem is if he fights a more unorthodox striker that isn't following just like 1, 2, 3, like the same punches over and over again for every combo, like he's going to zig when he should have zagged, and he's going to go into a punch instead of rolling with one. Rodriguez never fully adjusted.
And I'm sorry, it's Rodriguez. He's a Brazilian.
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Brazilian fighter.
But I think both of their stocks went up. I think Dusko, I think this fight is going to be an important one for him because I think he was a little gun shy and didn't want to have the same thing happen to him that happened in his last fight, right? But towards the end of the third, he started finding his path. Unfortunately, it was way too late. But man, him off the clinch, he would clinch up and then he'd start ripping at the body. Yeah. Rodriguez would let go, and then he'd land a couple up top, and you could see the intensity was there because he was landing throughout the fight, but like the intensity of his shots weren't there. It's like he wasn't fully committing, you know. Rodriguez fought enough. This was a fun fight, honestly.
Rodriguez, I guess, he recently won a title in LFA like a couple
May
weeks
21st.
Back. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Also, you're bisping. He's like, Rodriguez might be in his late 20s, but he looks 50.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Hey, he said it, but we're all thinking it, man.
Yeah. When they said that, I was like, holy shit, man. We got another Yoel Romero over here.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, somebody
like the opposite of Yoel.
All right, man. Did you have anything else on that fight?
No, other than I'm excited to see Rodriguez in a full camp, not a short notice fight, because the guy's very talented, very talented. And Dusko, I think this can be a confidence building loss. I think, you know, I think he probably was a little unsure of himself going into this fight, and I think hopefully, kind of like Cody Garbrandt against Rob Font. Right?
His chin was back, or his chin was
there? Because towards the end of that fight, you could see him get like pumped up a little bit and being like, "Oh, I can take these shots. I can fight." You know, I think he was a little bit self-conscious of that, and Dusko might have been too, because kind of same thing. Towards the end of the third round, you see him turn it on a little bit, get like that fire, because he didn't have the fire. It seemed like, you know.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the third round, like I said, way too late. But it seems like it came back. So I think this is kind of a encouraging win.
Yeah.
I must have said something that sounded like that Amazon word.
That's hilarious.
They're like, Dusko did look like he was.
I thought she was going to start giving you all the Wikipedia information on Duško Todorovic, man.
Yeah. Coming from Serbia.
Before that, we had De La Rosa versus Lipski.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Lipski so light on her feet.
Why are we giving her grapplers? You would think the UFC would want to promote her because she strikes really well. She's
got the looks.
I mean, clearly, right? Let's get that off the bat. But her striking is so good. I know people were talking shit about her against the Antonina fight. Dude, I don't care what anybody says. Watching that fight, they must have been. It seemed there's a bunch of people. I don't necessarily know that they're all incels, right? But when there's an attractive fighter, there's a lot of people who just actively want them to be bad. They only want them. Yeah, it's like you can't be both. A lot of people feel like you can't be both, and I don't understand it because, dude, she was piecing Antonina up. I thought her striking looked so good in that fight. Unfortunately, her big glaring weakness is her grappling. So I don't know why we're giving her grapplers, especially aggressive grapplers, like I know you don't. The UFC, it's not up to the UFC to give her any favors, right? But like, I want to see good fights. And this was a good fight. This was a good fight. I'm not going to say that.
But also, if you're the UFC, you're also in the business of making money.
Yeah.
And, why not build up the star so she can make extra money for the company? Look, Will, we're all part owners here.
Yeah, we're all part owners.
I'm looking for a return.
And here's the thing.
What's my ROI? What's my return on investment? That's
here's
what I
the thing,
want to
man.
know.
We started off $24, right?
Yeah.
We bought in at $24.
Yeah.
It jumped up. It was like $34. Right now it's $29.
You know why?
Because they're giving
Lipski a wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why. We have the answer. Somebody listen. God.
Yeah.
But, with that, after the takedowns, it was game over, man.
But it did look like she had improved off of her last fight, Lipski at least. Off her back was more active.
I mean, look, this is Lipski pondering life right there. And right there, she's asking herself, did I grapple enough leading up to this fight? Like, did I train enough?
And also, before anybody freaks out about that picture, that's her own hand. I know a lot of people saw that photo and were like, bro, these eye pokes are fucking ridiculous.
That's her own.
She's wiping blood out of her eyes. Still gnarly, but let's not fucking witch hunt De La Rosa on it. But also, she looked more active off her back. And like you said, did I grapple enough? What's funny is or not funny, maybe ironic, I don't know. But going into this fight, I saw an interview with her that she was like, yeah, I moved here for this fight. We've been training at American Top Team for so long for this fight that we're working on my wrestling so much to the point where I'm not going to go out there and wrestle a whole bunch, but I've gotten my grappling up to a point where I'm not afraid to strike. And I was like, that's not something that I want to hear, because I bet it's not up to that point. Like, you should still probably be aware that a takedown's coming.
You think she's trying to convince herself?
I think she did convince herself, and I think that's a part of why she lost this fight, because she was throwing like there was no threat of a takedown. I know.
Yeah. Next time, we'll put a warning out before we put a picture up like that.
Yeah.
In the words of Rich the Casual, looks like the damn Exorcist. So
just wait till we pull up the Latifi photo.
Oh,
because that one looks like that one actually looks like it's from The Exorcist.
Well, that's a perfect lead-in, because we had Latifi versus Bozer.
Yeah,
I love Bozer's movement, man. He just moves like a light heavyweight, maybe really even like a middleweight.
Yeah, he really does. He's
so quick. He's strong. I think that he has one of those perfect builds to be able to do damage in the heavyweight division, very much like a Cain Velasquez, where he's not like a giant, intimidating heavyweight like Ngannou, but he's got that quickness. He's got the cardio, so I love watching Bozer fight.
Yeah, me too.
Latifi doesn't look like a heavyweight. Like, he should be a heavyweight at least.
Yeah. I saw something interesting about this one. Latifi now has 30 minutes of UFC fight time at heavyweight.
Oh, there it is.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's not his pupil.
Ugh.
Also, not from an eye poke. I think this one was from a punch.
Yeah.
Right? Punches him, thumb knuckle,
still
hit
gnarly.
his eye. Still gnarly, obviously, but I'm glad the ref didn't give him time on this one. And props to Latifi for surviving that barrage, because holy shit, Bozer went off on him after that. But Latifi, 30 minutes of UFC fight time at heavyweight now. In 30 minutes at heavyweight, he has landed 15 significant strikes. 15 in 30 minutes.
Wow.
Not the best.
Wow.
Not the best.
So, wow.
What did you think about this the scoring on this one?
I had Bozer winning.
I had Latifi winning.
Did you really? Which ones? Which rounds?
1 and 3. I know the commentary was very much a sure thing that Bozer was winning. I went back and rewatched the first round.
Yeah.
Because going into the third, I was like, okay, yeah, Bozer won rounds 1 and 2. we're good. I actually think this should, realistically, I think this should have been a draw. Yeah, but regardless, if we're scoring who won, I think Latifi won 2 rounds in this fight. I rewatched the first round. I mean, Bose was winning the striking, but not by much because there wasn't much going on there. It's feeling out process of a heavyweight fight, but I think it was like 2 minutes or something like that of control time for Latifi. So close to half the round was controlled solely by Latifi, right? No damage or anything like that. But if you look at like the scoring criteria, right, damage is number 1. Control is below damage as far as what you're supposed to prioritize scoring. But if there is no damage, control becomes the next thing to prioritize. So the fact that I feel like there wasn't really much damage from Boser or Latifi, really, I think it ends up coming down to control. And I feel like that was Latifi. I wouldn't be mad either way. I don't think it was a robbery. I think it should have been a 10-9 round for Latifi in the first, a 10-8 round for Boser in the second, and a 10-9 round for Latifi in the third. Should have been a draw.
What weight class do you think Latifi should really be fighting at?
Light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight.
Yeah, I think he should be a light heavyweight, especially right now.
Yeah.
Man, if Latifi was still at light heavyweight, dude's a murderer. I think at heavyweight, he's too big. I think it's too big for his frame. I don't think he can. It's like when Conor first went to welterweight, right? Technically,
I mean, he fought a lightweight at welterweight.
Yeah, and I mean they both fought. They basically did a lightweight fight with no weight cut. But especially the first one, he did bulk up significantly, and I think it's too big for his frame. You don't want to be too big for your frame. I think you got to find that sweet spot. And I think Latifi, it might be hard to get down to light heavyweight. I don't really know what changed his mind. Might have just been this. He wasn't having the most success at light heavyweight. But he's not. I don't think he's having real success at heavyweight either. He might have won this fight, but I mean, he got fucked up in this fight. If this was scored as a fight and not round by round, he lost his fight. You know what I mean? He got fucked up.
I feel you. All right. Well, I don't have much else on that fight.
Yeah, I mean, what did irritate me, and maybe it's like how many times do you have to learn the same lesson? But for Boser, it seemed like he also thought he won the first round and was okay with being on his back for the whole third round.
Yeah.
And what's funny is in the pre-fights, he was interviewing saying that he learned from the Arlovsky fight because he said he thought he was up and kind of coasted a little bit and ended up losing the fight. Here we are doing the same thing.
Yeah. He'll talk about this fight too in his next pre-fight interview.
Yeah, you know what I really learned about the Arlovsky fight and the Latifi fight is that I thought I was up and I coasted. So that's a mental thing that he needs to fix. Maybe more so than his ground game. And
maybe the corner too.
Yeah,
maybe a little reminder.
Where's he training?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. But maybe he's fighting out of Canada. It says here.
Yeah.
Alberta.
Affiliation,
and I don't know, but maybe the corner reminding him, hey, don't forget against Arlovsky, you cruise to the third round. How'd that end up?
Yeah,
just avoid the takedown. If you get taken down, you got to get back up. Sense of urgency.
Yeah, sense of urgency, man. Like you just can't. I don't know how people still don't, and I'm not blaming Boser on this because I'm not a fucking fighter. I don't know how much presence of mind you can even have in those situations, right? But when the judges are the judges that we have, like you can't take one round off. You just cannot do it because, I mean, how many times?
He's somebody that would really benefit from open scoring.
Yeah.
If anybody can benefit from it, it's Boser.
They all would.
All right. We had Trinaldo versus Salikov before that. Yeah.
This is a fucking awesome fight. This was fight of the night for me up until the Baeza fight. But this was a cool fight, man. I like both these guys a lot. Trinaldo just refuses to age. I don't know what the hell's going on over there.
He looks like he's 60. But
not his body.
Probably the most explosive 60-year-old I've ever seen.
It's like from here up, 60. From here down, a good like 30.
In his prime.
He's fucking
In his
jacked.
prime from there down. He is. He's super jacked, man. It's all those Brazilian supplements,
Those
dude.
acai bowls. Yeah.
Yep. But dude, Salikov was just so much more efficient with his strikes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of always been his thing, right? He's very much like no waste energy, picks his moments, throws his big shit like when he needs to.
Look at that spinning kick right there. Learned that from Joe Rogan.
Learned that from Joe Rogan himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's so talented. I think the next piece for him to really put it all together is maybe just a bit more output. He's been he picks his moments of maybe a little bit too much going forward in his career, but because I mean we talk about Trinaldo being old as dirt, but Salikov also is not the youngest guy in the world. So I mean I feel like he needs to put it together, right? Remember when I was like, remind me to go off on UFC doctors?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. I mean, this is where the eye poke started, right?
Well, technically, is where the eye
look at
pokes.
that.
Yeah, look at that, Rich. Right on it, dude.
I know.
Right on cue. God damn.
It's fantastic.
But it's technically where the eye pokes ended, right? But for us talking about it, it's where they start. But I get I'm tired of guys getting eye pokes and the doctors. Whoa, hello. Tired of doctors going in there and the first thing they say, "Can you see?"
Yeah,
because if they say no, the
they
fight's
just
over.
Got poked in the eye, just a couple seconds ago.
Dude, if something grazes my eye, I can't see shit. I'm like, fuck this. I hate getting poked in the eye. You know what I mean? So like, give them a fucking break for a sec. They get 5 minutes for groin strikes. I know a lot of people. All of a sudden, the take that everybody has online is you only get 5 minutes for groin strikes. Eye pokes, you don't get 5 minutes. It's fucking horseshit. The fighter doesn't get 5 minutes, but the doctor gets 5 minutes to decide. So why the fuck are we in a rush? You don't have to decide in 1 minute. The fight, technically, I get it. The fighter doesn't get 5 minutes to recover.
Yeah.
But it's up to the doctor. The doctor gets 5 minutes to decide. Anybody with any common sense knows if you just got poked in the eye, you can't see. You can't even open your eye. So maybe let's fucking wait. Use up my own 5 minutes. The fighter doesn't get it, but I do. So let's just fucking wait. Maybe bring in like an ice pack or something. Put it over his eye. Like, yeah. Because do we want to call the fight? Is that the goal? Because if that's the goal, then we're good. We can keep doing it.
Spend some time wiping that sucker down. You know what I mean,
dude? Like, it seriously seems like the goal is to call the fight. They go in there being like, "Fuck, man, I just wanted to be here to watch some fights. Let's just get this shit over with real quick so I can watch the next fight." That's what it seems like the doctors are doing because
they're like, "There's 14 fights on this card. Let's speed it up."
Yeah, and all it does is it encourages fighters to lie and potentially fight injured because they know as soon as they say, "I can't see," you can't say, "Oh, I can't see right now. Give me a minute." You can't say that because as soon as you say, "I can't see," they call the fight. So it's either I lie and say, because you don't want to go down like that, right? So you lie and say, "Yeah, I can see," even though you can't. And
which I think happens in this case.
And the fight starts, and you eat a big left hand because you can't see out of the fucking eye because you're still recovering.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
The aftermath of that.
It was bad.
The eye poke followed by that big left hand.
Mm-hmm.
That could have ended the fight.
Yeah, 100%. He couldn't see it.
Yep. And Trinaldo did everything he could to attack his right side.
And that's what you do, you know? And if there's anything we've learned, fuck, man. Yeah, that was just because of the eye poke. That wasn't swollen before the eye poke. I mean, the swelling is from the punch, but the punch happened because of the eye poke. Yeah, but that's what I mean, right? But that shit pisses me off, man. And that needs to change because all it's doing right now is encouraging fighters to lie and fight injured while they can't see, instead of actually they get 5 fucking minutes. The only time I've seen it go 5 minutes is when Jeremy Stevens fought Yair Rodriguez and he got eye poked in like the first exchange of the fight, and it was the main event. And the producers are like, "Do not call yet. Do not call yet. Do everything you can to get this fight to continue." And they got 5 minutes. There needs to be a standard there. I get.
Did DC get 5 minutes too?
Not the full, I don't think.
No,
I don't think the
can't
full
remember.
5 minutes. But I get it. The rule says the fighter does not get 5 minutes to continue or to recover, but the doctor gets 5 minutes to decide. So I don't understand why the doctors are in such a rush. It makes no sense to me. It's common sense you can't see after you just got poked. So what the fuck are they doing going in there? And Salikov did the best. He pulled the best strategy in this situation is to accentuate the language barrier and pretend like you don't know what he's asking you. Because then they have to ask maybe 3 times, and now you get some time. Because if you understand it and they ask, you have to say yes.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. I mean, if you're a fighter though, wouldn't you be able to say like, "Give me a minute"?
Dude, I think, I mean, you can, but it seems like anything you say other than yes makes them think it's too. They're like, oh, it's too bad. We can't do it. Like, it seems like
because I
that's
did
how
hear
it's been.
him. I heard Salikov say it's dark.
Did he?
Yeah, when he asked him, he's like, "Can you see?" He goes, "It's dark." And he's like, "No, but can you see?" He's like, "Dude, he just fucking told you it's dark."
And then he was like, "Huh?"
Like that. Yeah. What?
What do you mean? Can you see? He also pulled the best move is after they agreed, like, yeah, it's going to continue, because clearly he couldn't see still.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Can I just wipe it really quick?" And then they're like, "Huh?" And then they like have to cut. That little confusion gives them a little bit more time. They wipe it. Probably made it worse, because they didn't give him the rag to do it. Some other dude's just pushing on his eye with a rag. Probably made it worse, but
he should have been like, "Can you wipe it again?" After he walked out, just buy him more time.
He's like a wet wipe instead of this dry, scratchy rag.
Oh shit! All right, well, the fight before that, we had Amir Khani versus Kirk.
Yeah,
dude, in certain angles, Kirk was looking like a young Mike Perry.
Yeah, like just visually, yeah.
I was like, hey, this guy kind of looks like
Kirk is like the Mike Perry that like took the career seriously.
Look at him. That doesn't fight glass doors and stuff or windows
or people in bars.
But that's what we love about Mike Perry. But hey, Kirk, I thought he did a pretty good job when he was on his back, threatening off his back too.
I thought he did a fantastic job. This
was his debut, right?
I think so, yeah. And I think short notice, right? He filled in for Nate Landwehr. But he had that triangle. He switched to the armbar, but him maintaining the triangle lock with his legs stopped him from being able to actually commit fully to the armbar and get the most leverage that he could have. He probably could have, in hindsight, right, switched from the triangle leg position to just the standard armbar. Mm-hmm. But he might have felt something that told him, like, if I let go of this, I'm losing the armbar. So let's just try it. But man, he looked impressive. He did. Very impressive.
So I'm looking right now.
Tricky.
Yeah, it was his debut. He last fought on May 14th in LFA. And it says reason for win, retirement.
So he beat someone so bad that they retired.
I mean,
usually that's what that means.
Yeah, but does that mean that they're like in the middle of it and he's like, hey, dude, you know what? Like, I'm good.
Yeah, probably.
You know? Because it says round 2, 5 minutes. So probably the end of the second round. He just didn't want to come back out in the third round maybe. And was like, hey, you know what? I'll retire.
Yeah.
I'm good.
His last loss was to Billy the Kid on the Contender Series.
Ooh, Billy Quarantillo.
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid, yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, really impressed with this guy.
Yeah, he's scrappy, man. And Amir Khani's a tough man. I was so high on Amir Khani, and he has the talent, man. It's just like there's something there. He needs to put it together. I'm not sure what it is, but I was rooting for him in this one.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this fight.
No.
Now, we were talking about eye pokes. We have Alan Patrick versus Mason Jones.
Yeah.
This is really where it started in the night, right?
This is where it started in the night. And once again, an eye poke where the doctor comes in. Can you see? The guy's like clearly like in visible pain, holding his eye closed. Can you see? Like, obviously no.
Yeah.
Obviously no. Let's give it some time.
Alan Patrick versus Mason Jones. Mason Jones was looking good.
Very good.
He was looking really good up until that point. I thought he was winning the fight up until that point.
Well,
You know,
he was
and
fucking him up.
he was.
He was
throwing,
dude, his ground and pound. I don't know how Patrick was still conscious. He ate some big shots. Big shots.
Which I think when there we go. There's Alan Patrick versus
there they are.
Mr. Mason Jones. But yeah, if you're
look at that ground and
Patrick,
pound.
You're eating that elbow, right? You're eating some big shots.
Mm-hmm.
You get poked in the eye. Now, I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm not. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, he knows he's losing the fight. Things aren't going his way. He doesn't see a way to come back from this and win himself.
Not with the right eye.
Contest? Would you take a no contest, or would you take an L?
Yeah, I mean, he did. I mean, that's what you do in that situation, man. If I'm getting fucked up, like he was getting fucked up, dude. It was very close to being finished a couple times, and you get eye poked. That's your ticket right there. I mean, listen, man, you fucking fouled me. That's not on me.
And then he poked his own eye.
Maybe he was like, if I
He's
just
like,
get in there.
Look, it's extra mushy now. Look at this because of that eye poke, you know? Look at poor Patrick, dude.
But yeah, I mean, he did use it as a way out, and I don't fault him for it whatsoever. I don't think that's a bad thing. Because I mean, like I said, he was getting fucked up. I do think this one was fully unintentional, and I saw people saying like you can't reach out with your hand like that, like this.
Is he trying to measure distance?
No, he had his hand on his shoulder. And it was like this, and it slipped off. Like he was holding him, and it slipped
like when
forward.
I up kicked you.
Yeah, exactly.
When we're rolling, and I had you in the spider guard, and it slipped off your elbow straight into your eye socket.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Yeah, but
it's completely unintentional.
Yeah.
I remember the next week, everybody was like, "Dude, what happened?" And you're like, "Romero kicked me in the face."
Customers would ask me like. And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, my manager kicked me in the eye." And they're like, "What?"
Yeah, long story.
Yeah, took too long of a lunch. My manager kicked me in the face.
Hilarious.
But I don't listen. Things happen, right? Fouls happen. I don't think this was the case of John Jones style pawing with your hand out like that. I think he did grab him, and it slipped forward and caught him in the eye. Fully unintentional. Patrick used it as a way out. I'm not mad at that though. That's what you fucking do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He doesn't have an L on his record after that one.
Yeah,
or a fourth one at least.
But very excited to see Mason Jones in his next fight because he looks really good.
He did. Before that, Fiorot versus Ricci.
Mm-hmm. Ricci.
But dude, hey, props to Ricci because she took this last minute fight, went up a weight class,
and it showed
for UFC debut. Oh yeah, it was very evident. I mean, look at this.
Very undersized.
Look at the stare down.
Yeah,
you could see a huge difference there. The reach for Fiorot was. Yeah. I mean, it was just too much for Ricci.
And she knows how to use it.
But I was going to say, but she did a very good job maintaining her distance.
With that right hand.
Striking. Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But props to Ricci, again, because she was very aggressive. She wasn't just laying down, you know what I mean?
No. She landed some good leg kicks too. And that's what you do when someone's jabbing you up like that. You have to do something to that lead leg, you know?
Look at that. See? Aggression.
She threw back. But Fiorot is the female wonder boy, you know? That's what everybody calls her.
Oh, yeah?
One of the first exciting fighters in this division to show up.
Yep.
As far as new potential for the division, something. This is her. You know, this is the potential.
Climbed to 7-1 after that one. And Ricci dropped to 5-1. That was her first loss. Aw.
Damn.
And she went up a weight class. But you know what? Again, UFC comes knocking. What are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Hey,
also,
you know what? I'm just gonna wait.
LFA fight.
Yep.
Let's get our boy Landry Ward.
LFA is like
LFA.
the AAA, dude.
Yeah, it's like the minor leagues for the UFC.
It's the minor leagues for the UFC. Yeah.
They have a partnership. They have a partnership, right? The
Do
UFC and LFA. I think so. I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of partnership there.
would make sense. But yeah, LSK, Landry the Lone Star Kid Ward.
Yeah,
You know, when's his next fight?
I know. Where you
Come
at,
on, let's
dude?
get it going. Let's get it going. We want to watch you fight again, LSK. All right. Before that, Sean Woodson versus Yusuf Zalal.
Yeah, man, Sean Woodson, just all legs.
Dude, in certain ways, because all I know is if let's say I ordered some chicken
God
wings
damn.
and they came with that much bone and not that much meat, I'd send that shit back because my man is all upper body. He has long legs.
I know.
He has long legs.
I think he's all limbs because his torso is real small.
Look at those legs. I mean, come on, bro. John Jones looks like a world-class bodybuilder next to this guy's legs.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But that's part of why he's so fucking dangerous, you know?
True.
I mean, he's all length, you know? It's leg reach and it's arm reach, you know?
I was just waiting for him to be able to sink a Darson with those long-ass arms, you know, a couple times that because Zalal was trying to put him up against the cage and trying to take away that reach advantage.
Yeah.
There was a few times where he went in with his head low for that single. And I was like, oh, here we go. Is he gonna go ahead and sink that in, you know? And then yes, Richard Casual, Dawson from the Street Fighter, absolutely looks like that guy. Absolutely, look at that arm reach there.
I mean, dude, I would love to see Woodson go to like Tiger Muay Thai or something like that. Because dude, if he started mixing in knees and elbows more, he does, but if he really like fine-tune that part of his game, that guy's fucking dangerous. He could be so dangerous. He's got so much talent, man.
I think they were saying that he's the tallest featherweight on the roster, if I remember correctly.
Does not surprise me. But you know what I don't trust is the UFC's any of the UFC measurements because they had Rozenstruik listed as like 2 inches taller than Sakai, and then they do their face off. Sakai's like 4 inches taller than him.
They have Henry Cejudo at 5'3". There's no way that's accurate.
When the guy's clearly 2 feet tall.
Hey, congrats to Henry Cejudo, by the way. Baby on the way now. He's engaged. The next chapter in the Cejudo life, you know, he's a triple C over there, but a champion in life as well now, my friend.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Shout out for the intro.
Yeah, for real. First fight, though, this was a long night of fights.
Yeah. It was very long.
Fights.
Yeah.
Claudio Puelles versus Jordan Levitt.
The hype train comes to a slow down and just disappears.
Yeah.
And I say that with all due respect.
Again, a lot of things remind me of when we used to roll, Will. And this one reminded me of a time that I went in with an injured back, and I was like, dude, we're just going to have to flow grapple.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And this very much reminded me of a gentleman's agreement that we will try to kill each other, but let's do it in a slower, more organized fashion.
Yeah,
it was not to risk any further injury.
Dude, the slowest grappling I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Flow grappling, dude.
Obviously, it's because of like tough positions, but man, Levitt just looked like he just wasn't. He just like wasn't. There was zero intensity from him, you know.
Yeah, I mean, not much on this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame.
Zero control time. Rounds 2 and 3 for Levitt. Zero control time.
Really?
Zero.
Huh.
Not 1 minute, not 1 second of control time.
Interesting. I probably won't go back and rewatch it. I kind of felt bad telling you because you missed the first couple fights of the night, and you're like, which ones do I have to go back? And I was like, well, I kind of want to talk about them. I was like, I kind of want to talk about all of them, so you should probably watch them all. But then I was like, I felt kind of bad saying that because I knew you had to rewatch some of them.
I was like, what'd I do to Will?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Your legs slipped off and kicked me in the eye one time.
So Richard Casual coming through with some information. They had Rozenstruik at 6'4", Sakai at 6'3".
Yeah, Rich, can you click that link and somehow get that on the screen? I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, but I could tell you that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
like it's not accurate.
I'm not going to measure it myself. I'm not going to measure them myself, but it doesn't look like it's accurate.
No, it's I think oh, come on. You're gonna tell me the guy on the left is 6'4" and the guy on the right 6'3"? Come on, UFC. What are you doing?
That's fantastic. That's it. Oh,
So,
dude, even if it was the other way around, even if they were to tell us Sakai
it's clearly
6'4"
not 1 inch.
and Rozenstruik 6'3", dude, maybe 6 feet.
Maybe Sakai's in heels.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Maybe they
dude,
have Jairzinho standing in a hole.
Is that Sean Shelby in the background? How tall is Sean Shelby?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna fucking do some math real quick.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's not a Wikipedia page with like tail of the tape with Sean Shelby on there. You know?
Yeah.
I probably won't find that.
No, but I mean, overall, it was a fun card. I enjoyed it.
It was a. Did forget to mention this. The Pride outfits that the fighters had an option to wear. Thought that was pretty cool. Not all the fighters toss them on, but I just thought, hey, it's something cool of the UFC to do.
I like it. Just, I mean, obviously for a ton of reasons, but also anything to let fighters like express themselves, please. Like, dude, the shorts are much better now, right? They can choose colors, all this stuff. The shorts are much better, but dude, MMA is such like a self-expression thing. Like, let the fighters showcase their characters.
There might have been some confusion. So I sent the pictures to Rich and I put down Pride photo. And I think
this one's Pride gear at the top.
I think he meant maybe like Pride, like the old fighting organization. So no, my bad, Rich. I meant like as in Pride Month. Rich a casual. I apologize. I probably should have been more specific in the notes there. Oh shit! Well, fun night of fights overall. Like I said, I feel like we got to learn some things about some of the folks that still have some question marks next to them.
Yeah.
Like Levitt with the hype train slowing down a little bit, like the Miguel Baeza. How would he handle adversity?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we had answered.
Yeah. Hey, Coleslaw. Look at that comment coming in.
Oh, my man, Coleslaw. Appreciate it.
I actually have one for you. I have one for you.
Hey, Coleslaw, I sent that out. When did I send it out, Will?
Hey, whoa. Yeah, I've had his since I've had mine.
It's been a minute.
Listen, man, everybody's allowed to procrastinate.
Always appreciate the love, though. Always appreciate the love.
Yeah.
Time for Will's Wisdom, though.
Ooh.
Will's Wisdom. So, recently we had your boy, Paulo Costa. Seems like he just pulled out of the fight that he had scheduled coming up.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, sir?
He's saying that he was supposed to. He was saying that he needs to be paid more, right? He was supposed to fight
Cannonier,
Jared Cannonier, right? In a main event. He's saying that he doesn't know why the UFC ever even announced that fight because they were still in negotiation. They never actually signed anything. So I'm on his side with that. I feel like that's fucked up by the UFC. It just puts unnecessary pressure on somebody. I think that's a kind of a shitty business tactic to announce a fight before it's fully agreed upon, because it almost forces their hand. Because if you pull out, people are going to be like, "Oh, you scared to fight him?" Like, "Oh, you pulled out of the fight," even though the fight never even existed technically. So I think that's kind of a shady practice by the UFC that I don't like. He's saying that he needs to be paid more. He mentions the Paul brothers in boxing. It just came out that tonight, Logan's fighting Floyd. And I think he's getting paid like 25 mil for that fight. And that came out like 2 or so hours before Paulo Costa announced that he's not going to fight Cannonier. And he mentioned he's like, there's YouTubers out here showing that we need to be getting paid way more. And I agree with him on that, I don't know what it's going to do for his career going forward, but he's got a valid point. If I was going in there to fight Jared Cannonier, I would want a good chunk of change. You know what I mean?
For sure. And just a quick note here, we had Richie Casual when we're talking about the option for fighters to wear the Pride Month outfit. Story of the fight is accepting of all people, no matter who you love. Hey, we're all about inclusion and diversity here.
Yeah,
right. And that's one of the things that makes, seriously. But that's one of the things that makes, I feel like mixed martial arts one of the best sports in the world.
Yeah,
is that you have people from all kinds of backgrounds, religions, race. It doesn't matter your gender preference. Like, there's so many people that are within mixed martial arts that do big things within the sport. And even if it's not at this level, not at the UFC level, it's not in the professional boxing level, you see so many people that just gravitate towards mixed martial arts once they get going, because it builds the self-esteem, and it's just one of the best communities I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of.
Yeah, it's the best and the worst, right? Fortunately, the best really outweighs the worst. We talk shit about a lot of like UFC fans, right? And like their shitty takes and their disrespectful
the Reddit voices,
stuff like that. Yeah, but that's a very loud minority,
For sure. Thank you for calling that out, Richie Casual. Next question: Logan Paul versus Mayweather. Are you gonna be
real quick though? About the Paulo Costa thing. The problem with this is you have a fighter, and this happens over and over and over again, and it's fighters shooting themselves in the feet with fighter pay. Is one fighter pulls out or declines a fight because they want to get paid more. Paulo Costa, John Jones, right? The two most recent. They're saying, I'm not going to fight them until you fucking pay me enough to fight that person. And I understand that. They pull out. Then you see Derek Lewis say, oh, John Jones isn't going to fight him? I'll take that fight. And then you have Kelvin Gastelum. Oh, I'll take that fight. And then fighter pay never gets addressed because the issue gets dropped. They don't have to deal with the Paulo Costa issue anymore because they got the fight. It's all good.
Yep.
And it's part of why there's never going to be like the fighter union, right? Paulo Acosta. But
he was trying to cost.
Yeah.
Dana
Too
White.
much for the UFC. Yeah. But that's why, right? Because a fighter pulls out for not getting paid enough. A fighter steps in to take the fight while being underpaid. And the issue perpetuates.
For sure. Which was leading me into, again, the pay. Logan Paul versus Mayweather. Are you going to be watching this fight? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm all for it. I think it's good for boxing. There's all these boxing purists that think it's bad for boxing while they're ignoring the actual issues with boxing. I think it's fantastic. It's a full positive for boxing. I think it's the best thing to happen to boxing in the past 15 years, probably. I think I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it live. I got plans later on. I don't know when I'm going to get back home, but I'm definitely going to watch it. Well, it's tuning in. Fantastic. Good old Logan Paul versus Mayweather.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Which brings me to the next one. Jake Paul versus Woodley.
And I don't know if you saw, but Tyron Woodley or Floyd yesterday in an interview invited Tyron to go train with him for that fight. And Tyron said, cool, never going to turn that down ever. One of the best opportunities that any fighter can ever have.
And we go back to the pay, right? Woodley said that
this
is going to be his biggest purse of his career.
Of course it is. And it should be, I think. I think every time you fight, unless you're, I don't know. I think most of the times you should be paid more like each fight. Yeah, I mean, it's a big look into some of the issues with combat sports right now, boxing and MMA. Fighter pay with MMA and just the absolute shit show that is boxing promoting in boxing. Probably the two biggest issues with both sports, and it's kind of just bringing that out to the light, the whole Paul brothers thing. And like I said, I think it's a good thing.
Next question. We have
Coleslaw. Nick's coming back, bro. He looks fucking shredded.
he
That
looks
dude's in the
super
gym.
shredded.
He's in the gym shredded.
And well, I love the Diaz brothers.
Yeah.
I know you love the Diaz brothers.
Yeah.
This is a tough matchup. Tough matchup.
For
that Diaz has
Nate or
coming up.
Nick?
For Nate.
Oh, yeah, Nate. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the Leon Edwards fight, probably not going to get it done.
Probably not. And if you're Nick, who does Nick face? We've talked about this before.
Jorge.
Ooh.
Oh, either Jorge or Robbie Lawler.
If you're Jorge, you take that fight and ride off into the sunset no matter what. Sell your fucking tequila, sell whatever it is that you're going to sell, right? Continue doing the street Jesus thing.
Yeah.
And if you're Nick, it's a very winnable fight.
Yep.
If you want to continue going in the UFC, this is you're beating one of the more popular fighters. So any casuals that hadn't seen Nick before now take notice immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Will says Diaz looking ripped. Yes.
Hey, in more ways than one, you know?
Oh, it's very true. I like how you did that double entendre there.
Yeah.
Hey, Woodley's mom. Next thing. Nicest lady in the history of the UFC?
Yeah, I saw Darren Till posted like we need to get her into the Hall of Fame, the UFC Hall of Fame. I think Woodley's a fantastic person. It seems like, at least from what's made public, right? We don't really know, but it doesn't surprise me because his mother is like, dude, like we've talked about it before when
she's a saint.
When Usman beat him and they're behind the scenes backstage moment that they shared after Usman, not Woodley, Usman with Woodley's mother, like, dude, that just shows you what a great comparison contrast.
So,
yeah, I mean, just
casual.
Fantastic person.
I had never seen the footage of Woodley's mom and Darren Till after Darren Till had
another
lost.
one too. Yeah,
and that's a really good one. You know, she gives him a big hug and says it's not a setback; it's a setup for your success. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, man, what a nice lady. And then on top of that,
in such a moment where you're so vulnerable as a fighter, that's got to be like, dude, like you hear that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, God
and you know it's stuck with Darren Till, because if there's ever a shit talker, in the UFC that's really good at it too, it's your boy Darren Till.
Yeah,
and he has nothing but the nicest things to say about Miss Woodley. So, next thing and last, Helwani No Mas with ESPN.
Yeah, this happened 15 minutes ago, or well, an hour and 45 minutes ago, but 15 minutes before we started. So, I mean, if you're a fan of DC and Helwani, you can just stop looking there and come here, you know?
Love it.
He said he's got big future plans. You know?
Is he planning on coming on for the fight?
Yeah, he should. Like I said, I told DC, if you ever want to leave that bum, you can hop on a Gilroy show.
The casual.
We sent a message to ESPN.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to get rid of Helwani.
That's hilarious. But that's all I got this week. Will, do you have anything else?
For this week, no. Thursday, June 10th, Clarissa Shields is having her fight, her debut. So that's going to be interesting. Anthony Pettis fighting again. Marcin Held.
Like it's really soon too.
It is. Marcin Held versus Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Great fight.
One of the better names as well.
Yeah, great fight. And then we got Bellator on Friday. We got PFL on Thursday. Clarissa Shields making her debut. Pettis headlining. Bellator on Friday. Douglas Lima, Paul Daly, Aaron Pico.
That's for Bellator. That's stacked.
Yeah. Nick Newell versus Bobby King on the undercard. Holy shit, Nick Newell doing the damn thing.
He's a dude with the arm, right?
He's got an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one arm is here, cut off here, basically. And then UFC 263 on Saturday. Fucking Izzy versus Vittori, Figgy versus Moreno, Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill, Maya versus Bahal Muhammad, Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. Come on, dude. Hakeem Dawodu versus Evloev. Frank Camacho, our boy's back. Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell. Dude. Eric Anders versus Darren the Dentist Stewart. Chase Hooper versus Steven Peterson. Crazy card.
I believe, is this going to be Frank's first fight since he was on Story of the Fight?
Correct. Shout out Frank Camacho, one of the nicest dudes to talk to. What a great guy.
One of the nicest human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Love that guy. All right. So, yeah, that's all we got this week.
Yeah, thanks.
First week live
Went pretty well.
I feel like it did.
Crash
Thank you, Coleslaw, for coming through with some comments. Greatly appreciate it. And
Definitely.
Again, anybody that is either first tuning in to us or hasn't subscribed yet, do us a favor, subscribe, hit that little notification button, and hopefully we get to interact with everybody either through Facebook, Instagram, the Twitter, you name it.
Yeah. Rich, did you catch any of the fights?
No.
No.
All right. Well, that's another week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Story of the Fight. I mean, easy answer, right?
Yeah.
Really quick.
That's so funny.